minutes are approved. So we can welcome then Anise here to really get into our first agenda item. So Ed and I have been in conversation around picking up this topic. I think Ed, you had connected with Anise a while back.
Yeah, I can talk about that a little bit, and then Anise
Sure.
can
Yeah, great.
add to
Take it
that,
from
but
there.
I went to the ICMA convention last September in Austin, Texas. Going through talking to vendors, I got talking to Anisette and some of his team members there about some of their solar lighting options and some of the technology improvements that they have that might make these a very good option. I don't know exactly where we might want to use them in town. As you guys know, all of our poles are owned by Liberty Utilities right now, so it would be, you know, is it something we want to purchase and take over maintenance of? We have other projects coming up where we're putting light poles in parking lots, buildings that I know of, so it may be something to think about there. And so really just wanted to have this conversation. I thought it was a good place to have a conversation about lighting, and then, you know, decide if it's something we want to try to budget for, or it would also, in this day and age, probably be a really good grant project if it's something we wanted to go after. So, just invited him to come talk to us a little bit so we can see what he has to offer and what might be helpful to the town of Enfield.
Great.
So take it from there. Thank you, Ed.
Okay, super. So let me share my screen right now with you. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to start directly by showing you a quick video, and actually 2 or 3 quick video. First video will be that one. This is very close from you. It's a project that we installed in 2021 in Keene, New Hampshire, and this is the first project they wanted to try 2 of our lights in the street called Roxbury Street. So you can see our light right here. So that was the 2 first lights that we installed in the city of Keene. So a street light installed on the anchor base, and that can be installed almost everywhere in the city to increase the safety, of course, of the driver and pedestrian, but also when, like you said, you have a new construction project. So in 2021, they try their first light, and the final goal of this pilot project was they have new construction, so new roundabout and new road as well in Keene. And the videos that you see, it's Winchester Road. Everything all the new lights installed in this area are solar. This one were installed in 2022. It took a long time for them to create a roundabout. So you see, you have some here, all along the road, and the city is extremely happy with the result, and we are already working on other projects with them. So see the 2 roundabout all along Winchester Road.
Where is that?
Is that Keene?
That's Keene.
Yes, it's Keene, exactly.
Okay, I knew the first
So,
one was Keene. Yeah.
Not to interrupt, but does that mean that the state was cooperative in allowing those for street lighting as a part of that roundabout project?
I'm sure they were. Yeah.
Yes. So basically, we did all the steps that we had do and we have to do. It's not difficult to get. Basically, it's really just a street light. So if we are able, and we have, of course, all the certification signed and approved by a external engineering company and present to the state, there is absolutely no issue to install those lights on a road. They are made specifically to be used on road.
Does that urban compact mean different rules or something?
Urban compact, the city makes it,
Oh.
not the state.
Do we have urban compact?
No. No, but
So I wanted to start with this one specifically because this is the closest from you. If you guys want to go to see it, I can also, of course, and I will give you the contact information of the team in Kim, so you can call them, ask for their feedback, and yeah, just communicate with them to get their return of experience. Up. And let's see, what else do we have very close from you? Up. So the north of the US, Fonroche Lighting America is working specifically in the north of the US. We have customer, and I will increase, in New York State using the light on the road, in park. And I would say we have one of the largest, will be the city of Syracuse. You're gonna see here, and the Onondaga County as well. So this one I want to show that to you, because the light installed with the Onondaga County were installed in between 2020 and 2021, and they are working. Of course, they're working, no problem. But it's important because the situation in that one was that the infrastructure, the wire, was very old. So at some point, the county had to decide if they were going to do a lot of trenching to install new lights, or if they were going to try solar and Fonroche to see if the lights were going to work, and more specifically during the winter with low irradiation and with everything that you can have in the north of the US. And myself in Montreal right now, so same thing. So based on the location right now, do you have any question?
Do you have a picture of Manchester? Because Liberty Utilities has one of your poles in their yard.
Yes, and they don't want to send us the picture. But yeah, Manchester Utility, yeah, it's in Manchester, and Liberty Utility acquire, I think, 2 of our poles to put them in one of their entrance. And yeah, and to put the pole in one of the entrance of one of their building. And yeah, we try to work with them directly. Yes, exactly, this location. Three
Yeah,
systems.
Or just the location? Yeah.
That's the location. I don't know if you I can try to ask again a picture for you. No problem. Alors, let's go.
Yeah.
I don't think it's worth your time.
Yeah, we can ask a couple other questions.
Yeah, I don't want to. Did they do it as a test? Or
Alors, they did it because they didn't want to do some trenching in the area to install new light. So it was, and the same thing for the same reason that everybody starts using our light. It's cheaper, and you do not have any cost of maintenance for the next 10 to 12 years.
Tell me about the batteries. Where are they? How are they, maintained or changed in the long run or whatever?
Super, let's go. So,
right under there.
exactly. So we're talking about a street light, a product that can be installed anywhere in the US, and that will work for 10 to 12 years with no maintenance required.
Right.
The batteries are made inside. The batteries are inside this box. You do not have only the batteries, you have all the components of the light inside this box, all the electronics.
Yeah.
For the batteries, so maybe some of you know a little bit about electricity, you're going to have 3 types of battery. You're going to have the lead acid battery. That's the one that you can find in your car, in the old car. You're going to have the lithium battery, which is the most that everybody knows, the most popular. And you're going to have another one, which is based on nickel. So
What is it called?
infrared, nickel, nickel hydromethyl. Yes, yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry.
that's okay, I
Um,
didn't. Sure.
So InfoRush, we've been in business since 18 years, and we've been doing only solar street lighting since 15 years now. So we had at the beginning, 15 years ago, we were using lead acid battery. Then we turned ourselves to the lithium battery, and then with more experience, more development, we say lithium is not the good solution for a street light, so we're going to use nickel. Why? Because the nickel is a non-dangerous component, is cheaper, and you can ship it everywhere in the world.
What is it? NIMH? What is it? Nickel what?
Nickel hydrometal hydrate.
Okay, nickel metal hydroxide. Okay,
Exactly.
got it. And so is that a solid state battery?
Yes, and we based on a non-dangerous component and stable. So the real point of this battery is that the component is non-dangerous, so we can ship it everywhere in the world. And it go at charge of temperature way below zero.
Wow.
Voilà.
Yeah. So yeah, you can actually install those here in New England outdoors. Woohoo!
Yeah. So, the battery will be one of the components, of course, that will help and that made the light work in the north of the US for 10 to 12 years. That's one of the components. The second one, very important, is going to be the size of the photovoltaic panel.
Yeah.
I'm coming back closer on that video. Because we are in the north of the US, we have to use the size we call 305, this size of photovoltaic panel. This is for us the only way we can assure you that the light is never going to go dark.
Yeah.
Because because even, and that's when we took this video, because even with a cloudy day, if you're able to drive with no light, the batteries are recharging.
How about I mean, you're pitching them, I assume, the solar panels at almost like our latitude. They're pretty steep. So I was thinking about the solar panels in my house that are full of snow right now, about 2 feet of snow on top.
Yes.
It looks like they're steep enough that the snow's probably going to shed relatively easily, but I'm just wondering if that's part of your strategy here.
Absolutely. So you can see this one are, first of all, 45 degrees. Then we use a specific type of glass. And of course, the snow is going to stay a little bit, but as soon that you're going to have a little bit of irradiation, and it's when I was in Syracuse, so I can show it to you on some of the pictures. As soon, the next day, the next morning, if you have a little bit of irradiation, you will see the snow starting to melt.
Yeah.
Because of the irradiation starting to I'd say to eat the photovoltaic panel. Exactly.
Yeah, no, my solar panels are at 45 degrees, so it took next day with sun, and that snow fell off the solar panels at my house. The only time it doesn't is when it snows and then freezes real hard, like that. If it freezes and then it snows again and it never warms up, that's when they get really stuck. So here's my question. Can you also have motion sensing so that they're not on just for dark and all night?
All night. Okay. So we do not use motion sensor. We do not use motion sensor. We had some at some point, but
they failed.
No, it was working, but the problem that it was going some wrong message to the batteries, and our engineering team said it will be too risky for us to put some sensor and not being able to have a stable life for the batteries. So basically, not doing the sensor is helping us saying we prefer put the light 100% on light, or put the light at 100% with a dimming in the middle of the night. But because there is no trigger here and there using a sensor, we know that the batteries is going to work. We are afraid that we do not know how using a sensor will affect the batteries in 5 to 6 years. And because we don't know, we don't want to take the risk.
How long have you been shipping streetlights with the nickel hydride batteries?
It's more 12 years now. 12 years. More,
What?
no, actually, it's more than 12 years. No, it's 15 years. 15 years.
No, with the nickel? With the
Yes,
nickel?
yes,
Oh.
absolutely. Yes.
Wow.
So, Fonroche is in the US since 4 years now. But before, we were working also in the US with some, let's say, either contractor or energy efficiency company. So the first light installed for Roche installed in the US was installed in 2014 in North Dakota.
Great.
In a tribe university, and we're still working, and the light is still working over there. And you know, so North Dakota is very cold during the winter also. So
If the panel is snow covered for a period of time, how many hours will the light continue to work? Assuming that, say, on a second day, it's still snow covered.
So the light will work for the next 10 to 12 years with zero maintenance, and it will work. At no time the light will go down.
For how many hours will it
So-
light?
How long is the battery?
Yeah, absolutely. So we are not talking about hours. We are not talking about 2 or 3 days. With this technology, this light and the size up that we are doing, we're talking about more than 15 days with no sun.
Okay, that's good.
Okay. No, it's very important. So we
Yeah,
are
very
working. We are working. We're not working only with cities. We're working also with DOTs. And when we work with DOTs, the projects that we install, let me find the video. It's going to be New York DOT, Rhode Island DOT, Arizona DOTs. To be able to install a lot on the highway or on a specific road. And if they accept to do that, it is because they know that the light is going to work for more than 12 to 15 years. Okay, and we to arrive in the US, we merge a company, we acquire another company, an American company called SolarOne, and this company was already working with the New York DOT since more than 6 years, and just now, like 10 years later, we've been replacing their product with our light. This one that you see is installed in Rhode Island. This is Route 47, it's part of a highway. The grid lighting, and you can see there is still some of the light here. The grid lighting was starting to fail in the middle because the copper and the wire was old. And to replace all the lights, they have to move the highway, block the highway for a long time, remove all the copper, do the trenching, reinstall the copper, and it was a project more than 2 years. They did the project using our light in 6 months, complete project in 6 months, and they save about 57% from the beginning of the project on the cost of material plus installation, the complete material plus installation.
I mentioned the guarantee. You said there's no maintenance for 10 to 12 years. So are you guys supporting that for maintenance?
So, no.
Maintenance.
Yeah, of
But
course,
not-
of course.
It's part of the warranty or whatever.
Yes.
What would happen if it needed maintenance?
Okay,
Would-
let's say maintenance, and it happened. Let's say a car hurt the pole, and for some reason the photovoltaic panel is not working anymore. So we need to replace the photovoltaic panel. The cost of replacement of a photovoltaic panel is $170 US dollar. And in that specific station, if a car hit a pole, it's very simple. You replace just either the part that is not working, or you replace the complete product.
Right,
If for any reason at some point one of the fixture is purple, sometimes the fixture, maybe you have some the LED stands purple, we will replace it. We will replace it.
Okay, the nearest distributor is Needham.
So so Needham was our first site in the US, but now Needham was when we started. Now we just opened a new factory in Fort Worth, Texas.
In where?
Fort Worth,
Texas.
Texas. So we have two factories. One is in France, in Agen, south of France, and the second one is in Fort Worth, Texas. And the reason why we decided to put the factories in Texas is we have a partnership with the city of Fort Worth, and they are using our light to a lot of new project or replacement project instead of doing the trenching and the wiring.
I mean, I looked at your map. Most of your customers are out west. You guys are new in New England, it appears to me.
Let me go down here.
New in northern New England.
Yeah. It's only saw two, so one in Vermont and one in New Hampshire. That was all I saw for Vermont and New Hampshire. I don't know if I looked at Maine at all.
No, Maine, we don't. You know why? Because I did not have time to travel over there.
You haven't gotten there yet.
No, never got it. So no, it's really, it's really based on time and show and also history. So we were in the first company, and Solar One, the one we acquired, was in Needham. So automatically they had a lot of contact here. It was very easy to start developing the business. And believe it or not, Massachusetts, you have a few lights already installed in solar between Boston, you're going to have some Irvine. So a lot of small cities were already, or village, were already using our light in Massachusetts. Also because before we arrive here, we have some rep, and maybe some of you know, it's called Apex, and they were already working and selling our light in the area. New York.
Sorry, I was just gonna ask another question about, after 10 years or 12 years, when the battery dies, is that an easily replaceable part?
Absolutely. So 10 to 12 years later, and we already did this type of maintenance. The price of replacement of the complete system is between 400 to 500 US dollar.
That's the battery, that's the cost of the battery, or somebody comes out and physically climbs the pole and replaces the battery for that kind of money?
Nobody can, like, you can make a competition, but nobody can climb the pole like that. No, it will be the cost of the batteries. The replacement can be usually, depending where you are, and that's where it's very important for you, and is going to be very helping you go in a good direction. Cost of material will be 500. We will ship it to you, let's say total 600, 680. What is very important for us is this system, and I know even if it is a tall pole, I know it's in your head, you see a street light. This is nothing more than a bench, okay? Than a bench that you are going to buy and install in a park or on a bus stop. This is a 12-volt DC. So it means that there is no way for somebody to be electrocuted. Exactly.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. And why it is important is because we working directly with the city, and I will show again on this quick video. This is what we want to do. Work directly with the city, and we come on the ground to train and to work with your team to do the installation. So we did this one, the first light, the test I did, We did this with the team in Birmingham, Alabama, because your team is able to do it with just a bucket truck, and a team of 4 guys can install 7 lights in one day by themselves. So
Yeah,
you
and
are
they don't
not
have electricians either. Well,
exactly.
underneath the electrician's code. Anyone can do
got
it.
it. You got it exactly. So it's a lot of saving for the cities, and also they give a lot of work, to the people in the team.
So this is how we would take it down to change the battery. That's what you're saying. Like we just take that top piece off and with a
And
crane or.
it depends because there is no link. So depends. Some of the people prefer to do it all on top. So you do it all on top because it's possible. You remove just exactly, and the other prefer to take it, come down with the bucket truck, remove everything, put the batteries. Alors, I prefer this solution. Why? Because you can test the battery on the ground and then put it on the.
Make sure it's working before you put it.
Exactly. So even if we are very sure, it's good to have some good process, not going too fast.
So there's a lot of benefits to this, I think, and I think one of the trade-offs is whether we were planning on, like if it's a new construction, we were planning on putting electricity in certain areas for lights, which, if they're already in the program, it's hard to suggest that this is a better solution. They would still be lights that we own, not the utility. That's another thing. It's great for us to own them so we can maintain them, but these have way better maintenance and ability to do stuff with them. Yeah. So maybe it's still better for new construction too. We just don't put the conduits or wires in.
Yeah, I was really thinking of it this last week or so about
And then
all the public safety buildings.
and then having it, in places where even if there's outages.
Are any of the parts made in the United States, made or assembled in the United States?
We are Buy America and Buy American. So
wow.
When we
made in the United States,
both, everything. So Buy Americans, more than 75% of the value of the light is made with component coming from the US. Now, it's very simple. For 75 is that we are using American steel.
So, sorry, what was that last part?
Yeah, we'd have to see that.
yeah, but at least
There's a good start. It's
worth
better
asking the
than,
question in terms of
yeah.
what the infrastructure act might accept.
Yeah, do you know if the US, the IRA or the building industry, the two main incentives we have here would apply? Would provide the extra domestic content, adder? Do you know anything about that yet?
Yeah. So, 2 things. I don't know if it is the IRA. Yes, the IRA. Yeah, it is. Just to finish, really important. Yes, American, Buy American.
Mhm.
When we're working with the US Army and the Navy, we are buying strictly component made in the US. The impact is, of course, the cost of the light is a little bit more expensive. Buy America, 75% of the complete value of the light is from the US, and the only things that we are can be made somewhere else that in the US is the batteries that will be assembled and inspected in France, then shipped in the US and reassembled and reinspect in the US. So for the IRA, let me share, of course, very important point. You, for any project that you are going to have, will be eligible for a minimum of 30% tax credit.
40, right?
30 first.
30. So 30% we know about. Everybody gets that. Yes. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't know that, now that I think about it. So these lights qualify for 30%. And it's not tax incentive because we're not a taxable organization.
That's rebate.
Rebate.
So either
Rebate.
tax credit, you can buy it for a direct check.
Mm-mm.
That, yeah, it's a direct check,
Okay.
the best.
Yep, direct pay. I guess that's what it's
Yeah.
called. Yeah,
Yeah.
use the
Yeah.
term. I'm just forgetting it. Great.
And I think if you have
Wow.
some underserved area, you can also have the extra 10%, or if you have a low income residential building, you can also have an additional 20%.
Okay.
On your
Can we-
website, you guarantee light. What happens if the light doesn't work? What is
Fix
the
it.
fallback guarantee?
Up, I put the screen up. So the last time somebody called us to say that the light is not working, it was midnight. So I took the plane at 6 a.m. to go to see the light. It was in it was a city on Greenville, South Carolina, and it was not our light. It was some grid light. So
No,
light,
it wasn't
yeah,
light.
yes.
Oh, no.
Yeah, yeah. So no,
Oh.
it's a product that can have issue. Some reason can happen, but when something like that is happening, we will travel directly to come to see the light and work with you. And that's one of the good things. We are working differently as a utility. You're not gonna receive a call and wait for 2 weeks, 3 months to somebody to come and be there and see the light. We are always on the ground. We have people traveling all everywhere, and
Sorry.
no. It's very important. So the other thing,
No, it is very important because our utilities don't respond. We get it.
so I just want to come back a little bit on our history, because anybody can tell you the utility don't respond, and you're gonna say, but maybe in 5 years you guys are not going to respond. Everybody can tell you that. So and come back on our history. 18 years ago, we begin by doing photovoltaic panel in France. At some point, the Chinese competition and the Eastern Europe competition start to manufacture also photovoltaic panel, and it was not a smart move to continue to manufacture this. So our founder, we still our general manager and CEO, decide to move the business to start doing solar street light. So we are a small company, 30 people, doing solar street lighting, starting to creating something. We got lucky. Where I'm going is like we got lucky and we got our first major contract in Africa. In Africa, it's not like you are in the US. Nobody is going to do the maintenance of the light not working for 1 year, 2 years, because it's in the middle of a desert, because it's on a road where it's a little bit outside the city, because nobody is going to call the 311 to say, oh, the light is not working. So part of the contract with the president was, if there is any issue, you guys are going to have to pay money back to us. It was part of the contract. So it's very simple, and I will encourage you to do it. We are also going to work with that on Kinney. Syracuse is going to install there as well. We are going to encourage you to do that as soon as possible with us, is to use what we call the Fonroche Connect. So the Fonroche Connect system, very simple. It's just a radio system that will be based on an antenna. This is not Wi-Fi. This is not 5G. This is a very simple system, 3G, like the old radio system that we used to have back in the days, the old phone. And why we use the 3G is because in Africa, there is the Wi-Fi, of course, and there is the 5G, but it's a little bit like you are up North California, or when you are in sub-tribe, you do not have nothing on your phone. So no data cannot help you to connect and verify. Now, using the Fonroche Connect, we will be able to interface with the light, see how the lights are doing in a relocation. The other thing is, for some reason, if in a park you want to turn the light off for the 4th of July.
Remote control. So
Voilà.
huge
So
lighting can go off at 11 PM. or something.
exactly. And that's not a sensor. So we are not playing with the battery, we're giving wrong, but
On,
in
off.
case you need it, we can do it.
Yeah,
And
that
of
makes-
course, you guys, your team, engineer or public work have access to this to go to be able to see the light at any time. So just to give you a heads up, what you can do with it. First, that's why we're saying preventive maintenance. It's free for
Yeah.
the next 10 to 12 years. We have 10 people in front of their screen in France and soon in the US, up, and those people up, where is my Forge Connect? Ah, voilà. And those people are sitting in front of their screen, tracking light, doing some updates. So you see it's a Mayotte, there are 50,000 lights installed already, giving some update, verifying day to day what is going on.
Wow. My question was gonna be, we haven't talked about cost. And, you might have a dollar figure, but I'm also wondering how, what is the cost relative to, if you know, and maybe I don't even know how to get this, relative to putting them up, with the utility? I guess that's not really a good example. No. Yeah. Well, what's the cost? Let's
Well, we
start there.
could do with that. He can send me
Yeah, and we could try to do.
information and we can plug that into
Right.
our two projects.
I was just gonna say, the ones that we were gonna control anyway, the lights that we were gonna control anyway, we could see if this can be a
We can see
better.
what those are
yeah.
and then we'll know.
Yeah, I can see
And
what
I
Travis
think, and you
covered.
say you had a figure that you were talking about, when you and I spoke, right? So,
Absolutely. So whatever is happening, our price will be between 3,000 to 5,000 US dollar.
Okay,
The price is changing based on this very simple. It's based on the type of pole that you guys are going to use. Maybe you're going to tell us we just want to do a crosswalk. So if it's a crosswalk, we can use one pole 14 feet. Maybe you're going to DI, we want to do a roundabout or a dangerous intersection. We will go dangerous intersection. Sorry, we will go with a 25 feet pole. It will always depend about the size, the quantity, and the price of the shipping, of course. So we like to work, and I know no obligation, but we usually will like to work on a minimum of 10 units with the city, not for a first project, but it's because with a 10, 15 units, we can assure you 8 to 9 weeks delivery. Because we will assign a specific truck, flatbed, with all your pole going directly to your direction. When we have one pole going in one direction, we have to consolidate all the shipping, so it can take maybe 14, 16 weeks to receive a shipment going in your direction.
Yeah.
Voilà. But,
yeah.
good.
I was
But
gonna
like,
say,
one thing,
Oops, sorry.
no, go ahead.
I was gonna say, if there's a big order, then you probably could maybe offer different pricing for a large order.
Absolutely. And one thing very important, and I know that 100% for sure, because we do it all the time, and you guys will do your calcul, and we can share that after, but you will save on the installation plus material cost from the beginning of any project. If you have, it's a project where you have to do some trenching, wiring, get electrician, you will save a minimum of 21%. The best one, the best project, the customer saved 57% from the beginning of the project.
Nice.
That's good. That agrees with your website. I just attended a dark skies seminar yesterday with Rad Lighting. I'm glad we were able to turn these lights off.
That's what I was just thinking. One of the best pieces is, even if we can't put motion sensors on them, if we can turn them off for reasons or
Yeah.
whatever, then that's good.
Yes, absolutely. But we will work on that, of course, together. And the public work on this situation, we like to do the public work direction and chief of police are the ones who driving that. Why? Because you guys know in what parking lot you want to do maybe a dimming at 20-30%, because the usually the police, like when they have to go, they like to have at least a minimum of lighting. At least what I know in Syracuse and New York, you can have some underserved neighborhood or area where they want to keep the light at 10-20%. And yes, there can be some area where we want to have the light completely off. It's really up to you.
Great, that sounds good.
Well, again, on your website, there was one
Yeah.
job you guys had with 67,000 lights. Could you tell me where that was?
Yeah. I might not be able to show it to you, but this is in Senegal. This is that's the story I was telling you. The first project the biggest project for us are in Africa. Up.
Well, I think we have taken almost 45 minutes, which is great because we could do all the questions, and I think there's enough interest that we can follow up with Anissé for any additional
Questions, yeah.
questions or
Yeah,
comments.
absolutely.
Thank you, yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, I think and are we good with that?
Yeah, if you have any cost breakdown, like the connection piece and those things, if you could send that to me.
Yes.
Like I said, we have 2 projects now and I can get those to
Get
our
them costed up
electricians
so
and
we
start
can,
looking at.
yeah.
Perfect. So if it is okay with you, and we can do that very fast for you, could you send me the 2 PDF that you have, the drawing of this project and the street, of course the light level that you want, for example, and we will prepare a design, put all the light based on the light level that you want. We will have a number, size of pole, type of batteries that we will use, and I will give you a cost, of course, for that, and also a breakdown of all the system for you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Fantastic.
This has been very,
A
very
lot.
helpful.
Awesome. Perfect. I hope I was interesting, and if you guys have any question, you guys feel free to send me an email.
Thank you,
Awesome.
Anissé.
Good.
Thank you so much. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Au revoir.
Au revoir.
Yes.
Au revoir. Au revoir.
Oh, wow.
Great, thanks for the,
I'm heading out, I'll leave
Intro.
that on.
Thank you,
Okay.
Ed. Yeah, thank you so much.
maybe before you go, because one of the things on the list is talking about, a program for, community power. And my thought is, what do you think we're going to need? It came up a little bit at the, not the town meeting, but the select board meeting. What, if we wanted to put a little adder on community power so that we could have funds, discretionary funds for Enfield, what do you think we need? Like, I'm imagining a program that describes how this would work and how much it costs and how it would be funded, et cetera. And then what? Like the select board and you talk about it and decide? Do we have to go to town meeting and get a vote? Like, what should we be
It really
planning on?
depends how we're gonna do it. I think I would plan in here
First.
to think about a couple projects or some
Right.
things that it might be used for. Then
Mhm.
we would go to the select board and
And then decide
discuss
what the
what
next
projects
steps.
we think we are, what
Okay.
the possibility is. As
Okay.
you said, technically, it looks like it's a select board decision, but the
Mm.
select board at that point can decide if they want to say yes or take it to town meeting for a decision.
Yeah.
This the weatherization program you talked about?
Yeah, or it could be, I think you're right. It'd be better to even have a couple of program ideas
Yeah.
fleshed out and go to the select board with that. The one thing I don't want to miss is our first opportunity to possibly start, collecting discretionary funds, because it will take a while before there's funds to be used.
Yeah.
And so maybe with programs being fleshed out but not completely agreed on, July is the time we're gonna have to make that decision. You're the one who goes to the meetings and makes that decision. And so maybe there's a way to say, well, we're not ready to say we need this much money, but let's add a penny, or let's add not a penny, like a tenth of a penny, or something like really small, but getting us in the flow of that so that we know what's gonna come up. I don't know, just an idea.
Yeah, that would be a select board decision.
Yeah.
My guess would be that they're gonna wanna see what are we gonna be doing with this,
Okay.
not just
Mhm.
let's start collecting money so we
Okay.
can do something, but this is what we wanna do. And if we wanna go off of what we just talked about, maybe if we
Yeah,
can get in these
light,
poles, we can put them
right.
in and we can get rid of the power bill and.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of other projects too. but-
Okay, great. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Ed.
Yeah.
Wendell's my name and I heard everything I needed at the end here.
Oh, I can
Sounds
put you in the
great.
meeting.
Yes,
Really great.
Way better than I thought. Like, when I think about solar streetlights, I'm not, hadn't been convinced for a lot of reasons.
I thought
The battery technology was the main one, so,
I thought I had a project and then I found out today we don't need it. The gas pumps out here. The guys, early on, before we changed our lights, they had to read the gas pumps with the flashlight.
oh,
Now with our new lights and everything, it's a lot better.
yeah, yeah.
great. All right, so let's see where we are in the agenda and what we want to prioritize.
Yes, for the last 10 minutes.
Yes, so we had these other items. We had climate goals for Enfield that can be addressed maybe at another time if we want to. I'm just looking at you, Kim, like you suggested that we go back to the climate
Yeah,
goals.
yeah.
So community power updates, if there are any.
I don't think I need any this time.
Okay,
And Joe Allen's not here, so
yeah.
we'll wait on that one.
We had also, the community solar refund program. Is there any update on that?
No, let's not do that either, because I don't have anything new on that.
Okay, so then,
Well, what I need to do on that, I guess a quick one, what I need to do on that, or what somebody needs to do is we need to get all the electric bills once again, and actually I can work with Elisa on that. That's gonna be the best way to do that. Because she can get me online, so I can get them, as opposed to, yeah,
You can get them online?
yeah.
Oh, wow.
I think I can do that, so I'll work with Elisa. So I'm gonna put a note that I'll work with Elisa, Kim, to work with Elisa
okay,
to get all electric bills in preparation.
Is
Or-
is somebody checking on the solar credit that's going to Lovejoy Brook?
I did check on that when I did my analysis,
Okay.
and it was going, so that's a good start.
yeah, so then, great, so that's gonna be addressed, and then we had on the agenda a possible purchase of the DPW solar array. But I know that we wanna do some research about, what's needed for that to happen.
Did he say that was 2026?
Yeah, so we have a little time on that, maybe we,
Alright, so
Push
just in
that one.
terms of schedule, then, if we were to do that, that should be presented to the capital improvement plan. And it would probably wind up being a vote at town meeting. So a year from this fall,
yeah,
that needs to be presented to the capital
as a
improvement plan.
warrant or whatever we need to do,
And
yeah.
then, so it can go through that process, and then it goes to budgeting, and then it goes to select
So
board, and
that's
then it goes to town vote.
So that would be
So-
fall of 2025.
It would be the fall of
You're
25.
getting this, so I don't need to.
September would be
Yeah,
their
I'm
first
doing
meeting,
that.
so it'd be about September or so of 25 that we would need to identify that sum of money for discussion. So it can then go through the process.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, no, you mean.
Anybody have a ballpark figure on the cost?
Know what it is?
Do you remember the original cost?
185.
Probably 60% of that.
Okay.
That's just sort of typical and very round.
So somewhere around then 120.
It wasn't even that company, because remember
Oh,
the first.
yeah, that's true.
There was a different company that did the first time.
Norwich Solar.
And it might even be something that we want to bring up sooner than that, and the reason I say that is it may be grant eligible. If it is,
Well, the problem is that the owner is not gonna wanna sell it sooner than that, because he hasn't. Yeah, I think he's tied in.
Contracted.
no, not in terms of selling it sooner,
Oh.
in terms of applying for a
A
grant.
grant to buy it.
sooner,
Oh, okay.
So that when you do
Ready.
get around to September of 25, you've got a grant in the
I
pipeline.
like that. I wonder if there's such a grant. It's worth looking
I don't
at.
know.
Yeah,
I don't
it's
know.
worth looking
Or-
That would
Is-
mean, yes, looking for that type of a grant
now. Anything,
now
yes.
and over the next 18 months. So that such a grant might be in the pipeline before September of 2025
Great idea.
to see if it's available. you know, depending how the infrastructure funds go,
Yep,
that may be eligible.
I like the idea. I think it should be.
That was the reason I asked him how much of the lights are made in America, because of
Could you get 40% instead of
the
30%?
infrastructure
Yeah.
funds.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I wonder whether this could also be one of the projects for the discretionary funds.
Whether enough would be accumulated by then, I don't know, but
Let's put it in do the analysis piece.
Be good. It could pay for itself then.
that'd be nice.
Yeah.
Or let
The money we save.
nationwide taxpayers help us out.
Terrific. Let's vote on that right now.
Cool. Yeah, these are great ideas. So that's awesome.
He sounded like an Indian. Is he producing in the US?
That was France. That was
He's
a,
French.
that was a
That's
French
Yeah,
accent.
he's French.
That's why we all said
And-
au revoir to.
And I don't know where he is, but,
In Montreal.
you know, he
Oh,
may
is he
be
in
in
Montreal?
France.
In
It's in
Montreal.
Montreal.
They speak French there.
Yes, they do.
Sometimes.
They come from Africa or.
But I bet he spent time in all those places. Who knows? With this company, it's small enough. They might have sent him all over. All right,
that's
so what else?
So then. Okay, so I would like to go back to the climate goals idea and also, just other items. I will not be here for the next meeting and Joellen won't be either.
Oh,
So I will
when
be.
is it? I might not either. As long as we're all saying, because I'm gonna be out of the country until April 26th or 7th. Is it that
Oh,
week?
my,
Is
okay.
it that week?
Yeah, so it's, let me see what's.
Or is it the week after?
It is, the 23rd.
Yep, I won't be here either. Okay.
Great
so
meeting.
Maybe we should
I
cancel.
I think we're going into May.
We should, because Joellen just emailed to say that she won't be here either.
So
Okay,
what we should do is be sure to look at the calendar and make sure we don't conflict with the Memorial Day period of
for the
time.
next one. Yeah, because Mondays can be
School
Memorial.
day.
Monday can be earlier in the month, and we just want to make sure we don't conflict with that. If it
Yeah.
means moving energy, well, then we'll move energy, which is, can be done.
It's the Tuesday after Memorial Day.
It's the Tuesday after Memorial Day, so
Yeah, the
we may
28th.
want to consider bumping it ahead a week and doing it the Tuesday
The
before
21st.
the Memorial Day weekend. Just a thought for those folks that take a longer break or something.
Is that the case for any of us? It won't be for me because I.
No, I'll be
I mean, I'm fine either way, but,
I'll be here.
okay, so we'll leave it
You can
alone
check about, yeah. you
for
can
the
check with
Tuesday
Joellen,
after
but
Memorial Day,
otherwise-
okay.
Okay, so that means that we will have to skip the April meeting, actually.
I think so, yeah.
Okay. So that was one of the things I wanted to discuss, and also, the idea of having I talked to Alyssa about having, a shared folder where we put documents, because at the moment they live on your computer or my computer, and having one repository that is central. Alyssa said that it's possible, but she wouldn't want it to be shared too broadly, like having the chair and the vice chair. For example, the presentation that you gave at town meeting, having those things.
Yeah,
all in
someplace
one
where,
place.
yeah, another energy committee could look at them later, like when we're not here or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Or someone
Available.
else is the next chair, so
Yeah,
there is a track
right.
record and we don't have to go back.
It's a good
to
suggestion.
Documents, for
It is a
example,
good
for
suggestion.
DPW solar, having it in one
Yeah.
place.
Yeah, there are, a lot of those are on my computer and not a good place.
So I'm working on that, but Alyssa was clear about not wanting, for example, co-editing
Right.
in minutes or stuff,
Right.
Right.
co-working on a particular
It would
document.
only be a repository of the
Exactly.
documents,
Yeah,
Yeah,
cannot be edited,
Right,
that's right.
exactly, because otherwise then she feels that could be another way of meeting.
Meeting,
Yes.
And
that's-
leaving the public outside basically from
Yeah.
that. So I'll work on that. That's gonna be helpful for our records. And, in the few minutes left, do we wanna talk about climate goals, whether we wanna make sure we have an idea of how to address? I think, Kim, I mean, it wasn't this idea of having a larger climate goal or a strategy for Enfield, which came out when we had the master plan conversation here. You know,
Yeah,
it might not be the ready for 100, but what might be good for Enfield to have. And there were some reflections also as a result of town meeting, you know, like we got a little bit of the temperature of some of the reactions in the room around, for example, EVs, you know, EV charging. You know, that was a bit
yeah,
uh,
controversial.
surprisingly controversial. So it gives us some data about some temperature checking out there. So do we want to make space for this conversation in the next meeting in May? What are your thoughts?
I think, so I feel like personally, I want to work on project for discretionary funds and buyout and grants or whatever we might do for the DPW. Those would be areas that I want to work on. I like the idea, but I don't want to sign up to work on goals for Enfield. I think it's a great idea if somebody else wants to raise their hand and say, let me just like think about what other towns are doing. A lot of towns have 2030 goals, 2050 goals, 2040 goals, 2050 goals. Like 2050 goals are being, you know, no towns, facilities are using fossil fuels. It's a big goal. Could we get there? I don't know. But in terms of
We're
what are
gonna be
other
there with two rather major town properties.
two new ones? What do you
Yeah.
mean?
I mean, yes,
Yeah,
yes, the
we're making
the
great
emergency
progress.
service building will use
Some fossil fuels.
some.
Right, no, but so
But
that's
it's
what I
not
mean,
a
so maybe
lot.
we can have a goal that makes sense that says 90% or something by 2040. I don't know what, again, somebody has to think about that. Like, it would be silly to just throw out numbers. I mean, I like the
Probably
idea
the
of ready
place
for
to start is if we can get a hold of the climate goals that
from other towns and stuff.
say Hanover being,
Well, Hanover's
A
easy,
town that
they're
has
ready for 100. That means
yeah,
100% of all of their municipal, even the Dartmouth College, everybody who's in Hanover is supposed to be off fossil fuels entirely by 2050, I
I think
think.
it's 2050,
It
right?
might be sooner, but Ready for 100 is a very
Oh,
strict. And
they won't make 2050, but
Dartmouth
they
probably
can
won't.
talk about it.
Yeah, they can talk about it. Again, it gives you something to,
I don't think the college is ready to make that commitment,
well, the college is getting pushed from a lot of directions, but in any case.
but it won't be it won't be
It
far.
does
enough to meet
everything
that-
slowly.
It won't be far enough to make that goal.
I don't
What's
know.
Lebanon?
I don't know. 11 is, good question.
I don't
Yeah,
know
I have
about
a
it.
goal.
That's the one to marry up to.
I think it is.
Yeah, Lebanon is probably a better,
Better
Corollary.
model, and we could all be expectant more making it too.
yes.
Okay, maybe we can do that. It's like just set a
This is
little
what
goal,
the-
like somebody raise their hand.
Well, once we
Wendell.
look at,
Wendell is going to try to
Say
find
what
out
Lebanon
Lebanon's
has.
goal, and it might be right on their website. It might be easy to
It might be.
research.
Okay, that's
Talking
great.
about it in the-
but I think you're reading Enfield correctly, frankly, in that, it is more project oriented than goal oriented.
Yeah.
Particularly under the current economic climate. We need to nibble away at things.
And then maybe it's really up to us to identify those projects that get us closer to the goals.
It
and
is,
we
it is.
Blitz it. We
Yeah.
have to go like, well, these are the goals.
Exactly.
But also, if we do identify something that we can agree on here, perhaps that can get incorporated in the master plan so that other teams are agreeing, when we get the master plan, all agreed to that.
For
that
example,
is-
the presentation we just saw, as you mentioned in your note, with regard to talking to Laramie Farms.
Yeah,
That will have many streetlights, obviously.
oh, yeah, we'd love to.
And
help
in the
them.
planning phase, they're only just now halfway through the end of the zoning phase. But in the planning board phase, perhaps they could be talked to about considering solar featured area lights.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's something
Because they
that,
may have, rough guess, I wouldn't be shocked if they'd have 20 to 30 of them up there.
Yeah.
Well, it wouldn't shock me.
Right,
It's a large residential
Yep.
development.
be great.
And that's something that actually the town of Enfield can have an influence on.
Well, when it comes before the planning board, then the planning board can talk about things like, how are you? What is your ambient lighting? What is the locations? How much you're putting in? And the suggestion can be made, would you consider solar? So that's the area where that topic can be discussed with the developer.
And would that, is there any role for us, like talking with the planning
Just
board?
presentation to the planning board to make sure they know about it.
Just align the goals. So for example, we
Exactly.
telling that we are inquiring into this possibility. Who would be the best liaison and what's the timing? Because the 9th of April is the first meeting with the planning board about that project.
Not
no?
planning board. That's simply the follow-up to the zoning board.
Oh, that's the follow-up to the zoning.
It is the second half of the zoning board hearing.
Okay,
So
gotcha.
they're still discussing heights
That's right.
and how many buildings can you put on one lot.
Yeah,
Planning board will be a little bit further on.
yeah, okay, we have some.
Once they get through zoning, then they'll feel, I think, a little better about design. And they'll probably then begin to develop some conceptual site.
Yeah, so for us, it's not yet the time to communicate at this point.
No, it's never too soon, but I think it's fine to communicate it to people who are on the planning board. Say that we've learned something and we'd like you to think about it.
Yeah.
It's no different than suggesting to the planning board, for example, on that particular development, gee, we'd like to see a sidewalk coming down, Maple Street. It's the same sort of thing
Yeah.
that a planning board presents and says, here's something we'd like to see you as a developer consider.
Okay, good. So is there an action item here? I'm just trying to be,
I would say just a note to the planning board that you know,
we are.
we have learned about it and we'd like you to, and if necessary, Ed can certainly provide some more information about it. And it's something worth considering.
Is that for me good? or-
I would say yes, please. As chair of the committee, I think you'd be the appropriate person to
Okay,
put it out there, if you will.
be happy to.
Is that new 300 people?
Yes.
Okay,
And it's a large development. Well, there are,
300 people is.
well, not only
300
that,
families.
not only that, it's 300 units.
300
Units, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
300 units, it could conceivably be several hundred.
Is it still called the Laramie project? What do we call it?
Laramie Farms.
Laramie
Project.
Farms.
It has different names. It's been called that in the past.
Okay.
If you looked at the land is owned by a corporate name, I think it's called, well, I don't know. I won't.
That's okay.
Yeah.
You could look, but you could refer to it as that and you'd be
Yeah.
recognized.
Okay, I just wanted to set something in. Yeah, Maple,
Parallel to Maple Street.
you head up Maple Street, so that's the one that you go a little bit left after the post office.
Yeah,
Where the
That's
roads
right.
divide, May Street is on the right,
And
Maple
Maple's
Street is
on the left, so you start
and it
heading
would
up
be the
there.
property to the left side
After all the
of Maple
houses.
Street. And don't ask me a compass direction because up there, I'm not sure.
But it is on the left side and it's after the road turns to dirt and it's past all this,
Not that far.
not that far, right?
No.
Soon after.
It actually begins at the point when the houses begin. It is that property behind all those
Oh,
houses.
I thought it was after the house.
No,
Oh,
no.
okay,
Access to it will be through the
further.
road on Route 4 that leads to the water tank.
Just past,
One,
Linda Jones.
okay. Oh, that's a class 6 road or so. What is that? There's a
No,
road
actually,
there?
what's there is simply a right-of-way road to
Okay.
the water tank.
I didn't know
that
that's
is-
what was up there.
That is actually before the Class 6 road. You glance to the right as you're
Okay.
leaving town.
Yeah.
You're going to see a physical fence. It's a gate.
Yeah, to that dirt road that, after the.
The
after
gate blocks
Linda's
people from
property.
going up to the water
Right,
tank.
okay.
That's going to become the access road.
Oh,
Okay.
okay, that's good, because that's Route 4, it's not, well, I think that's good.
It is Route 4.
Mhm.
Anyway,
Yeah.
we're off the subject, but
It's not Maple Street.
Yeah.
Everybody's
You have
gonna
the
put
idea.
on
Yeah,
Maple Street.
okay, excellent. So that's an action item for me.
What was the action item? Make sure I got it. Yes, I got it. You are going to send a note to the planning board about the possibility of using lights in Laramie Farms project.
Yes.
Was it planning
when-
board?
Yeah, and when we say planning board, is it all of them?
Yeah, who's the right person there?
Or it is one person only?
I'm trying to think who's head of the planning board right now. It's escaping me at the moment. I'm sorry.
It's
Who the
okay.
chair of the planning board
So maybe the
is.
chair,
chair,
or the,
okay.
to the
Yeah.
chair.
Yeah, which you can get off of the
Yeah.
Enfield.
I do
Site.
that.
It should
Okay.
be in the town meeting report.
It's on
It's on
the
the
town,
website.
it's
Yeah.
on the town website.
Yeah, yeah, it's
I'm
fine.
sorry.
Okay,
um,
no problem. Great. Is that it?
I'll make a
Okay.
motion to adjourn.
Second. So
You guys have to vote on it.
we're adjourned.
Aye.
Okay, thanks, Marta.
All right, good.
We didn't catch it as an action item, but it is fair to, ask Ed his response to being able to get information out of Defiance Electric for the two new buildings.
Oh,
Now, it may take a couple of 3 weeks to develop that
Why
information.
don't we ask
but
Tracy
certainly
to
by
take
the
that
May-
action
I
item?
can do that. I can do
Good.
that
A
action item.
Tracy action
And I
item,
will get you a report.
okay,
can I understand that action item? I didn't understand it,
yes,
sorry.
okay, and while I.
I will make sure that Ed gets us a report from the electrical contractor, who is Defiance Electric, for both the emergency services
Mhm.
building as well as Whitney Hall,
Mhm.
in terms of whether financially, and it's strictly a financial question,
Mhm.
we can integrate solar powered, lighting,
Yes.
into the plan.
Oh, so I can answer that question, absolutely. Like, there's nothing electrically that disallows that. As a matter of fact,
Oh, gosh, no.
right, so
It's strictly an economic, a financial question.
financial question, okay,
Can we
yeah, okay,
come close
to meeting the
to
same,
meeting
yeah.
the costs
right,
that are already in the proposed budgets?
by not trenching and conduit to.
By not trenching, by not
Not
conduit.
sure how much we were gonna light that place anyway. As a matter of fact, we
Pole- yeah,
talked about,
the poles of some kind are gonna be there.
where?
Well, I don't know, I haven't seen the site layout enough.
Yeah, no,
With enough
we're
detail.
both on the committee and we haven't.
There will be site lighting.
Well, we talked about, this is interesting though, because we talked about lighting of the sign and that might be a solar light so that we didn't have to run any electricity out there.
Same
Just a
sort of
little bit
thing.
of lighting. I don't know if that's still in the plan, but we did talk about
Oh,
that.
no, there's some lighting.
So I'm thinking,
In fact, what was decided is that it won't be internally lit, because there's
Right.
zoning regulations
right,
in
it's
Enfield
just
about
gonna be a
internally
light
lit.
on
It's
it.
going to be an area light
Yeah.
on the
Area light.
roof. Well, I think,
Close
it's-
enough?
well, because the front of the building projects further than the.
Anyway, well, we
that
can,
part.
let's bring it
So
up.
there's, that's a.
Yeah.
Incorporating solar lighting into the project is a question for Defiance Electric.
Okay.
To see, because it's a trade-off.
Yeah.
If we go the solar lighting,
And we think about what all the lighting is, because there
Yeah.
might be, my guess is they were planning on putting lights on the sides of the building, pointing out to the, parking lots, and those are cheap. Would be hard to beat that, but if we needed them further away,
well, there are
have
areas
to
of
be
the
done.
emergency services building, for example, that, there's a remote parking lot that's in a chain link fence area.
yeah, no, I think
That's an
there's.
impound area. There's
The whole parking lot of Whitney.
Whitney Hall is gonna have
Should
to have
have
some
lighting.
lights around the parking lot, obviously.
No.
Um,
Yeah, no, I think it's a great idea.
Yep.
So,
Does Defiance have the drawing? They were starting on town hall. They still didn't have the electrical done.
but they will.
It's getting there.
They're
It
doing
was-
drawing.
Oh, yeah, I'm saying,
It's
but
a,
it had already started the demolition
For, for Whitney, you're talking about? Not, okay.
for Whitney. They didn't have the drawing for electric
Yeah, there was a lot to
I
demo.
mean, the contractor did,
contractor.
right. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I know Defiance hasn't finished it,
Okay,
but it's coming from Defiance.
yes.
It's not coming from an architect or an
No,
engineer.
no, Defiance has the electric contract.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a,